6-game road trip and coming home to Milwaukee. It's like a winter wonderland out there. This was earlier today at Miller Park. Crews getting the outside of the stadium ready to go for baseball. Hard to believe it's April. There's snow outside, but the good news is the roof is closed. There's baseball inside. We're getting ready for the start of a 7-game homestand and a series between the Brewers and the Reds. A look at the birthday boy, third baseman Travis Shaw, 108 RBI since 2017. That's 9th best in the National League. Also over at first base, Joey Votto, 104 RBIs since 2017, 11th best in the National League. Good evening, everyone. Sophia Minert here at Miller Park. And Craig Counsell said certainly the number of injuries that have piled up for this team over the first 16 games of the season, he said it's starting to feel like a little bit too much, and there was another move made here today. They're already without Stephen Vogt, who started the season on the disabled list, and earlier today they placed Manny Pena on the 10-day disabled list with a right calf strain that he suffered a Monday night in St. Louis. That'll be retroactive to Friday. Now they've recalled Jacob Nottingham from AAA Colorado Springs. He was acquired by the Brewers in 2016, and he joins this Brewers team for his Major League debut. So we hear from Craig Counsell on Pena's injury and why they had to make the move to call up Nottingham.
We just weren't getting better fast enough, you know, and we're at a point where, you know, we had to make sure we had a healthy catcher here. So basically it got down to Manny's going to need more time. And so once we kind of figured out that, you know, it made the DL kind of obvious.
So Pena joining Stephen Vogt on the disabled list, Christian Yelich as well, though he took a step forward, and the Brewers will be without Ryan Braun and Eric Thames in the starting lineup here tonight, but Braun could be available off the bench for the Brewers. So certainly a lot of injury news, but when we come back, we'll go up to our game announcers, Matt LePay and Bill Schroeder. We'll take a look at tonight's starter, Brent Suter, and the key to him getting his second win as the Crew kicks off this 7-game homestand. That's all coming up for you next.
to you by QP and Abraham. Voted best, rated best. QP and Abraham. Tell them you mean business. By Miller Lite. Great taste and only 96 calories. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. Springtime in Wisconsin. The roof is a beautiful thing. Brewers back home. 7-game homestand. First of 3 against the Cincinnati Reds. Cincinnati native Brent Suter on the mound for the Brew Crew, coming off a good showing in his last start against St. Louis. And the hard-throwing Luis Castillo gets the call for Cincinnati, looking for his first win of this young season. Good evening from inside Miller Park. Alongside Bill Schroeder, I'm Matt LePay. Of course, we'll be checking in with Sophia Minnaert throughout the course of the game. Well, Rocca, it's a bit of an ongoing theme right now. The Brewers need someone not named Chase Anderson to stretch an outing. Suter was good the other day. They just need a little longer outing.
Yeah, they'd like to get 6 out of Brent Suter. You know, the bullpen has been worked quite a bit. We've been talking about that just about every day. Chase Anderson has been doing his part, but you know, his last time out, you know, against the St. Louis Cardinals, he found that cutter. That cutter was a good pitch. He was struggling with that in his first couple of starts, and he was able to jam hitters at 86 miles an hour. And once he's get these guys thinking inside, then that's when you go with the changeup and the curveball. I think the curveball is going to be a big pitch for him against his Cincinnati Reds ball club. But he does need to manage his pitch count and pitch deep into the game tonight.
All right, Miller Park was a good park in the series against the Reds last year. The Brewers winning 7 of 9. Looking for more of that kind of success. Lineups, first pitch coming up. The Brewers and the Reds on Fox Sports Wisconsin. That is hit well, right field, and that is gone! A 3-run homer. Here's Ryan Braun, and there's a long one to center field. Out of here for Ryan Braun. He's done it again. Center field. Hernan Perez goes downtown. A fly ball hit back into right field. At the wall, gone again. Eric Thames again. Looking for a lot more of that tonight. Long ball power. The birthday guy, Travis Shaw, taking the field for the Brew Crew. Hernan Perez went deep a couple of times on the just completed road trip through St. Louis and New York. 7-2 against the Redlegs last year. Let's see what they do this time around. Roof is closed. Great to have a roof because winter won't let go as we get set for the opener of this series with Cincinnati. 3 games with the Redlegs, and 7 games in the homestand. Brian Price's team has been struggling mightily. Losers of 8 straight. 2-13 on the year, and we are ready to roll, and Brent Suter delivers a strike, and we are underway at Miller Park. And always quick working Brent Suter out of Cincinnati, Ohio. Moeller High School, very highly regarded high school for their athletic programs. Suter facing his hometown team tonight.
You see, making his 4th start of the season, a 470 earned run average, very good, as we mentioned. As he gets a strikeout on the curveball, that's going to be a key pitch for Suter tonight, the curveball. That is a difficult pitch on this Reds offense. But he found that cutter his last time out against St. Louis.
Was very effective against the Cardinals in 5 1/3 innings of work. Did not have a decision in a game that went extra innings. Here is Jose Peraza, and he looks at a bender for strike 1. Peraza now the regular shortstop for Brian Price's team as the offseason moves Zach Cozart signing a contract with the Angels. The job is Peraza's. This is a banged up Cincinnati team. Brewers won't feel sorry for them. They have a lot of their own injuries is covered in Brewers Live. And I see, like every day, Rock, you look up and you say, well, okay, how long is this guy going to be out? It's been a tough start.
Yeah, it is for both of these clubs, but for the Brewers, I mean, a lot of guys on the disabled list. You have a couple of guys that are banged up. You got Braun Thames not in the starting lineup. But you know what? You get through this stretch with all these guys injured, and, you know, Brewers have done a decent job of that. They're 8-8. And you can't win a division in April, but you could certainly lose one. So the Brewers need to keep their heads above water until everybody starts to get healthy.
Yeah, that's the thing to keep it in perspective, including this guy, Christian Yelich, who by the day is getting closer to coming back from the oblique injury. But Craig Counsell has navigated this team through it so far as Peraza will lift one into shallow right field. Squeezing it is Domingo Santana for out number 2. Well, we have seen Hamilton and Peraza retired. Here's the rest of the Reds batting order presented by Potawatomi. Joey Votto hits 3rd. Adam Duvall, the cleanup hitter. Former Brewers Scooter Gennett is next, followed by Phillip Ervin, Tucker Barnhart, Phil Gosselin, and Luis Castillo. Joey Votto with very un-Joey Votto-like numbers here so far this season, which I think Rocky said that's a scary thought going into this series.
Yeah, normally he does get off to a slow start. He's not ever been really good in the month of April, but you know, when it's all said and done, he's going to be around 300, 100 RBIs, the big home run numbers. You just hope you're not around when he starts to figure it out.
Yeah, he has had some monster second halves of seasons. But yeah, that's part of the book on Votto. He can be slow out of the gates, and that has been the issue with Votto here so far. And this Reds team, they come in just 2-13 on the season.
Yeah, not swinging the bats. Their defense kind of so-so, but pitching has let them down again.
And there you go. There's Votto dropping a base hit into left field. Hernan Perez out there in left again tonight for Milwaukee.
Well, let's check out the rest of the Brewers defense. Hernan Perez out in the left. You got Kane Santana in the outfield. Shaw, Arcia, VR, and you got Jesus Aguilar at first base. Jesus really swinging the bat well, and Jet Bandy behind home plate. Hanging the signs for Suter tonight.
So after Suter gets a strike out of Hamilton, a fly ball from Peraza, Votto drops a single into right field as Adam Duvall, the cleanup hitter for Cincinnati. That hit for Votto, by the way, number 1,600 in his career. Duvall's put up good numbers last couple of years as a Red. A lot of power. A 33 home run season last year.
You got to catch him when he's not swinging a bat either. He's one of those real hot, real cold guys, and if you catch him on a hot streak, he can hit some big flies against you.
Came over from the San Francisco Giants at the trade deadline in 2015, part of the Mike Leake swap. Homer 33 times 2 years ago, followed it up with 31 and 99 driven in last year for Cincinnati. 2-strike pitch, and Brent Suter with a couple of first inning strikeouts. A harmless single from Joey Votto. Good start for the left-hander. Against Brent Suter in the first inning. Craig Counsell brings his team back to Milwaukee after the 6-game road trip. 3 up and 3 down for the Brew Crew. And here is the Brewers batting order tonight, presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Jonathan Villar, Lorenzo Cain, Domingo Santana at the top. Shaw, Aguilar, and Perez in the middle. Arcia, Bandy, and Suter rounding out the Brewers batting order against the hard-throwing right-hander Luis Castillo. We are back at the top of the order for the Brewers. 3rd time this season. Saw it in New York over the weekend.
And Castillo off to a bit of a rough start. His first start of the year was really bad. That was against Washington. He made 15 starts last year, but had a .312 earned run average. And that was the best of any National League rookie. He's got good stuff. There's no doubt about that. 25 years old, out of the Dominican Republic.
A ball, a strike to Jonathan Villar. Yeah, the Brewers saw Castillo last September, and Castillo pitched extremely well in that ball game. Early September, 4 hits, 1-run ball. A lot of command, had 10 strikeouts in the game and walked no one.
Man throws hard, 96 miles an hour. He has touched 100 this year, but you're going to see a big difference between the velocity of the fastballs between these two pitchers tonight.
To say the least, right?
To say the least, right.
Villar sends one the other way in left field, and that is slicing foul. That looked very similar to an opposite field knock that Villar had at Citi Field, and it surprised just about everyone, maybe shocked a lot of people that it stayed in the ballpark against Matt Harvey.
Yeah, that one on Saturday night was a line drive down the left field line. This one just does slice fouls. It gets to the foul pole. Didn't miss it by much. He's doing a much better job of that, going to left field.
Hitting much better from the left side of the plate. Again, Villar. 2-2 pitch from Castillo, and he hums it in there at 96 for out number 1.
He made 2 starts against the Brewers last year. He was 1-0, gave up only 3 runs in 13 2/3 innings. So this guy can get it going. Let's check out the Reds defense. They've committed 11 errors this year. You got Duvall, Hamilton, and Irvin in the outfield. Gosselin, Peraza, Jeanette up the middle. Joey Votto at first, and Tucker Barnhart, outstanding defensive catcher behind home plate.
Here's Lorenzo Cain batting in the 2-hole here tonight. A scary moment over the weekend, played right through it when he and Domingo Santana collided on a fly ball in that series with the Mets. For an outfield that's had more than its share of injuries, we were worried that that injury list was going to grow, but both were able to bounce right back the next day and play on.
Yeah, good thing. Pickens a little bit slim in the outfield.
Yeah, so much for the question of how you're going to play everybody and keep them all happy, getting enough at bats.
That stuff has a tendency to work itself out, doesn't it?
It really does. You never have enough depth. Again, Castillo pops it in there at 96.
A free and easy delivery. 6'2", 190 pounds. 25 years old. Good arm.
Reds trying to get some answers with their pitching. It has really been a struggle, both starters and the bullpen. They've had some injuries we've talked about, including the likes of an Anthony DeSclafani, Michael Lorenzen. So they've been shuttling guys up and down from their system. And a wave and a miss from Lorenzo Cain. Slider there from Castillo. 2 up, 2 down in inning number 1.
Well, let's check out the Pizza Ranch for the win here tonight. And talking about Brent Suter. Don't wake up this Reds offense, particularly Joey Votto. Keep them down. Don't wake them up. They can swing the bats pretty well. The cutter, he found that pitch against St. Louis. And that's going to be a big, important pitch for him, along with the curveball. And this young man right here, big velocity. 96, 98 miles an hour. Brewers better be ready for that tonight.
Yeah, it's similar with Suter, and he matched up with Carlos Martinez. It was Suter's bound opponent in St. Louis. Castillo brings it up there as well. Domingo Santana quickly down 0-2. First of 3 back at it tomorrow night, and then Wednesday afternoon, and then the Miami Marlins come to Miller Park for a 4-game set. Santana pops this one up. And it will stay in play, and making the catch is the right fielder Phillip Ervin, and Castillo has a 1-2-3 inning. Scoreless here in Milwaukee. The top half of the second inning. Both starters already with a couple of strikeouts. Here's the former Brewers, Scooter Gennett, waiting things off for Cincinnati, coming off a career year last year for the Reds. And right now he leads this Reds team in batting average. 306.
And they're picking up right where he left off last year. Who would have thought, right? All the home runs, the RBIs for Scooter. Terrific season.
27 homer year for Jeanette last year, and that included 4 in that June 6th game against the Cardinals. Went 5 for 5 that day. 4 home runs for Jeanette, driving in 10. It's not a bad month he had that day. Former Brewer, and before moving on to Cincinnati in spring training, they looked at him at a couple of different spots. Second base really is his home. They moved him around a little bit last year, but
playing in the outfield a little bit. But you know, as a Brewer, they were figuring second base was the only thing that Scooter could do, and he was going to be a utility guy. He just can't have that.
This is a Brewers team that puts a high value on versatility. There is a one hopper to Jonathan VR, and the throw again pulls Aguilar away a bit, and it's out number 1. We saw that yesterday with Eric Thames over there, but no harm, no foul. 1 away.
Well, the last start for Brett Suter, he had worked really hard between starts on that cut fastball. Look at the velocity, 86 miles an hour, just eating up those right-handed batters for St. Louis. And once he had him looking inside for that pitch, he was able to drop some curveballs, some change-ups away, and really had his way with the Cardinals.
Here is Phillip Ervin sending one into the gap in right center field, and he is motoring around second. He'll hit the brakes there with a 1-out stand-up double.
Yeah, Ervin able to get on top of that high fastball. Suter likes to work that pitch up in the zone. There you see it upstairs. It's out over the plate. Remember, we were talking about the cutter in, up and in. Very effective. And a little off speed pitch, not the fastball at all. It looked like a changeup, and Ervin able to rifle it out there into the gap.
Well, the first runner in scoring position tonight is Phillip Ervin. Here is Tucker Barnhart, the switch hitting catcher for Cincinnati. And first pitch swing, and there's a base hit into left center field. Ervin rounding third. Perez, Arcia, Bandy safe at home is Ervin.
Yeah, good slide, head first slide, and made the tag a little bit longer for Bandy. Caught him safe right away. Well, 2 pitches and the Reds are on the board. You can see what their MO is tonight. Attack early. Well, they bullet out there into the gap out in left center. Ervin makes a good turn at third, but a good cutoff and relay makes it close at home plate, but he's in there. Heck of a throwing arm, is it not? Good job by Perez to hit the cutoff man, and Arcia with that big arm, but he's in there.
So the Reds grab the early lead. Here is Phil Gosselin. Well, you're right about that arm with Arcia. I mean, you just cannot take anything for granted with him. He can get it from point A to point B.
Yeah, you slow down a little bit, he's going to get you.
Gosselin, the third baseman. The Reds again doing some mixing and matching. Eugenio Suarez, third baseman, is on the disabled list with a right thumb fracture. Was hit by a pitch, and Gosselin goes back up the middle, and that's into center field. The Reds with 3 consecutive hits after Scooter Jeanette bounced to second.
Yeah, this time the pitch was down and in. Now you want that cutter up and in, and that's how he's able to get into some hands. But down and in, a little easier to get the barrel of the bat on it, and into center field. And the Reds, you know, 3 at bats in a row. Very good approach, and hitting line drives.
And here is the pitcher, Luis Castillo. He has a couple of hits in 5 at bats in this young season. Start number 4 for him. Trying to move the runners up right now. Lays one down to Travis Shaw. The play will be at first to the covering VR. 2 away with runners at second and third. Reds trying to get those bats going. They are next to last in batting average in the league. They average but 2.9 runs a game. The Brewers are at 3.5. These are both offenses that you figure will get it going. It's a matter of time. Brian Price's team has struggled mightily at the plate, on the mound, more middle of the pack defensively. Jeff Bandy getting a lot of work lately.
Well, bottom line, the Brewers have to take advantage of this homestand. I mean, they played some very tough teams. And you get the homestand, you got a couple of teams with sub 500 records. That's where you got to win some games.
It's a Brewers team that has every reason to believe it could be a strong contender to get into the postseason. So if that's the case, this is the kind of week that you want to try to take advantage of. Council's team has done well to be a 500 club given the injuries and the teams, the pitchers specifically they faced. Now you want to try to get a jump.
Just weather the storm until all these guys get back off the disabled list and get healthy.
And the right of your screen there, Jacob Nottingham. Talk about him as we move along tonight. He's called up today, and Billy Hamilton goes opposite field. That's a base hit, and it will score 2 runs, and this is a 3-run inning for Cincinnati. 2-run single for Billy Hamilton.
And another high pitch, and Hamilton goes right with it into right field. So the sacrifice by Castillo, the pitcher, advances the base runners. You see where that cutter was supposed to be. It was supposed to be up and in. He left it out over the plate. And Hamilton able to just slice it out there in the right field for a couple of runs.
Pitching coach Derek Johnson out to visit with Suter. The inning started innocently enough. A ground ball from Scooter Gennett. Phillip Ervin double, a Barnhart run scoring single. Bill Goslin single. And after a sacrifice bunt, 2-run knock from Billy Hamilton.
Remember in the first inning, it seemed as though Suter was really throwing a few curveballs. He was trying to establish that pitch. He has not done that in this inning. I think the Reds, playing against him, as have attacked that fastball early. He hasn't been able to get to that curveball. Maybe start to hit her out with one.
Here's Jose Peraza. He attacks the first pitch. Nice play, Arcia. There's the 360, and there's a highlight play from Orlando Arcia. That was much needed. As the Reds put 3 on the board in the inning, Arcia takes away a hit as he ranges like very few can at this level. 3-0 Cincinnati.
Park, and This Friday, the first 20,000 fans at the ballpark for the Crews matchup against the Marlins will take home a long sleeve Barrel Man t-shirt courtesy of Chevrolet. Learn more at brewers.com/tickets.
We always say it's great to be home. Capitalize and underline now. Great to be home under the roof on another frosty night in the upper Midwest. Selfishly speaking, it allows us to dress in about 5 fewer layers here tonight, right?
Yeah, we were bundled up yesterday in New York, huh?
The star was Sophia Minutes. Here's Travis Shaw with a base hit. First of the night for Milwaukee. Speaking of Sophia, speaking of Brewers injuries, let's get the latest update on that regard. Sophia.
Thanks, Matt. There's always a lot to talk about, right, on the injury front with this team. So earlier tonight, we told you Manny Pena going on the 10-day disabled list with that right calf strain. The Brewers are also without Ryan Braun and Eric Thames in the starting lineup tonight, but Counsell said that for Braun, he's doing much better with the back tightness. He would be available in the field or in a pinch hit situation like he was yesterday in New York. And for Thames, it's a little bit less known in terms of the adductor strain in his left groin. Counsell said he didn't have the opportunity to get on the field and test it, so he's still considered day-to-day. Better news for Christian Yelich. He hit for the 3rd straight day, took BP on the field today, played catch as well. So Yelich, he could be activated any day, so they are just trying to string together some consecutive good days for him.
Good to get Christian Yelich back, and he is more than ready to be back.
Yeah, talking to him before the game, he's going crazy sitting on the bench.
Jesus Aguilar, double play ground ball. Peraza, Jeanette to Votto. And it's a 6-4-3 double play.
Then you have Stephen Vogt. He's really no indication as to when he's going to come back. But good that Jacob Nottingham gets an opportunity in the big leagues. It's always a big deal when a guy gets his first call up. He's got his parents, family, and friends here at the ballpark here this week.
It never gets old watching the look on someone's face the first time he walks out there in a big league uniform and knowing he's part of the 25-man roster.
You figure he might get a start either tomorrow or Wednesday. Wednesday, an early start game. Was it 12:40, right?
12:40, yes, sir.
You would figure that you know, Bandy's caught just about every day since Pena, or has caught every day since Manny, hurt that leg. So we'll see if Nottingham gets a start. You know he's dying to get one.
He is one big dude. Recruited as a baseball player and a linebacker as well at the University of Arizona. Opted against football. Very sturdy catcher. He's actually starting to hit a little bit in AAA, a small sample size, but it's a big area of his game they're looking to see if he can develop at the plate. Hernan Perez, a chopper. That's a fair ball, and a throw across from Phil Goslin, and that does it for the Brewers here in the 2nd inning. We are through 2 at Miller Park. Joey Votto will lead off in the 3rd. combined to go deep 72 times. One behind the Giants and Milwaukee Braves in the early 60s.
Yeah, big home run hitters in home run friendly parks, particularly Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati.
Eric Thames had a lot to do with that last year, the start that he had. He battered Cincinnati in the month of April. Brewers led the league in home runs. The Reds were a powerful team as well. No shortage of offense when these clubs hook up. Joey Votto trying to go 2 for 2, and he will not, just foul down the left field line. Making a bid for what would be his first extra base hit of the season.
Yeah, just did miss that left field line. I think Brian Price, the Cincinnati manager, taking a look in that dugout, he's satisfied. It is reviewable and it is foul. Joey Votto is the player that Jonathan Villar was studying in the offseason. Votto chokes up quite a bit, and he chokes up his entire at bat, but Villar has started to choke up a lot with 2 strikes.
The 1-2 pitch to Votto and a liner to Shaw for out number 1.
You see the pitch he just hit a line drive to third base on. I mean, that pitch was way inside. Check this out. He's able to get a bat on it. He slices it in a line drive to Travis Shaw. I mean, it's almost impossible to do that. A lot of guys are going to, pull that pitch or hit a flare somewhere, but he lines it to third base. Incredible bat control.
Here's Adam Duvall. Struck out to end the first inning. Just joining us, we talked about the home runs these teams hit against each other. The Reds putting 3 on the board. There were no home runs. Duvall with a base hit to left.
Already 6 hits against Brent Suter. He gave up 5 in 5 1/3 innings against the Cardinals. Much different approach for this Reds team. They are attacking early. They're not messing around. They're not taking many strikes. There's that cutter once again, left it out over the plate. I think Bandy's setting up inside. He wanted to backdoor it, but he left it down the middle.
Rough beginning here for Suter. Had a couple of strikeouts in the first inning. Gave up a 2-out single to Votto, but that was it. Talked about it. Craig Counsell needs some more innings out of these starters. If you go 5, get into 6 if you can with Suter. This is not a good sign right now. The Saturday game, the Brewers needed but 2 relievers. Very much the exception to the rule here so far this year.
Hey, Chase Anderson going 6 1/3 against the Mets.
Jeremy Jefferson and Josh Hader. How good was he?
Right, man. 6 up, 6 down, 5 punch outs. Yeah.
1-0 pitch to Jeanette. This is in the air to center field. Lorenzo Cain will put this away for out number 2. Here's Phillip Ervin. He started the rally for the Reds in the second inning with a 1-out double. It's the 1 extra base hit they have of their 6 hits.
And jumped on the first pitch and ripped it into right center.
Ervin spent most of last year in AAA. Would appear in 28 games last year, his first 28 in the big leagues. Handful in April and then again in August and September. First round pick in 2013. strikes and nothing to Irvin, the right fielder.
Yeah, Scott Schebler for the Reds, big home run hitters on the disabled list, giving an opportunity for Irvin to get some playing time.
Adam Duvall, the runner at first. Suter with the 2-strike pitch. Just with a bender. Notice a little more bulk to Brent Suter. Put on some good weights during the off season. The 1-2. One hopper to Arcia. And that'll do it for the Reds here in the third. A Duvall single, and that's it. Bottom of the third at Miller Park. It's 3-0 Cincinnati.
In the third, our time now to check in with Brewers COO Rick Schlesinger. Rick, it's always great to see you when we start off a homestand, and it's going to be a very busy week, especially over the weekend for the Marlins series. A number of giveaways, starting with the first T-shirt giveaway on Friday night.
Yeah, 20,000 fans get the long sleeve T-shirt on Friday. We've got Marvel Superheroes Night on Saturday, a special package for a bobblehead for fans who sign up for the package. Sunday, Eric Thames, all-fan bobblehead, first of the year.
And tickets are still available all weekend long, correct?
Yep, we're going to have good crowds here. Obviously, it's warm. We have a roof, maybe piles of snow outside, but tempered inside.
All right. And also, Matt and Rock, coming up on Wednesday, we've got Weather Day, so maybe we can get our questions in if the snow will ever melt and we'll ever get spring happening outside of Miller Park.
That's a great question. Will spring ever arrive?
Yeah. Maybe you should have snowmobile day. Come to the ballpark in a snowmobile. You get half off or something.
It's unbelievable.
Isn't it something?
Rick's exactly right, though, with the roof. It is. There have been, what, more than 24 postponements in the major leagues already. It's April 16th.
Tigers have lost 6 games.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
When you think about that, you know, with what happened with the Twins over the weekend, with a blizzard there. Orlando Arcia goes down on strikes to begin the bottom of the third inning. You think about that. I know, Rock, you were mentioning this earlier in the day with the big league schedule, with everything starting a week earlier this year. You're trying to design more off days in the second half of the season. Well, for some of these teams, those off days are going to be lost.
Yeah, lost, and probably maybe have double headers involved in those things. And you know, you build up the entire spring. You know, spring training is to build guys up to be able to get to a point where you play just about every day. Well, all of a sudden now, you know, the Twins have had 3 days off. You know, they're in Puerto Rico today. I doubt they're going to get snow there tonight.
Well, that would be news.
Yeah. But again, I mean, their routine has been disrupted. I mean, these guys, you know, after 3 days off, they got to go crank it up again. And, you know, hitters are very finicky. I mean, timing is very important. And a lot of times you lose that. But I think more importantly, I think when the Brewers not having lost any games, that's going to help them down the stretch.
Certainly hope that's the case. It sets up that way as Brent Suter steps to the plate. That's the thing. You know, that game yesterday, the ending was not what the Brewers wanted by any stretch, but it was what, maybe 10 minutes after that game ended, it started to rain.
Yeah.
Probably not enough for a delay. Perhaps not enough, but it was a tough day anyway. The game time temperature was in the low 40s. They were fortunate, maybe in the big picture, just to get the game in.
And in St. Louis, there were some very frigid temperatures at night. So, yeah, I mean, the Brewers are fortunate that they haven't had any postponements so far.
3 postponements in the big leagues today, including the Chicago Cubs St. Louis Cardinals game. How about this? Brent Suter drawing a 4-pitch walk. After Arcia and Bandy are retired, Castillo walks his counterpart.
They just lose your focus. You know, your pitcher's up there, and you figure all you got to do is throw strikes, and can't find the plate.
Back to the top of the order in Jonathan VR. VR took a called third strike, leading off the bottom of the first inning. VR had himself a moment at Citi Field against Matt Harvey. Took him the other way. Powerball home run count, the first of the year with Jonathan VR. Somehow tucked that inside the foul pole down the left field line.
Yeah, 2-seamer going away from him, went right with it. That was a nice piece of hitting.
First 2 games of that series, the Brewers' offense was from home runs, 6 of them by 6 different players. Yesterday, the 2 runs were unearned, came on an error with the bases loaded. Stranded 9.
Ran into Syndergaard. I mean, that's nothing unusual. That guy's tough.
He was filthy last night or yesterday afternoon. Upper 90s and just a wicked changeup.
Yeah, that changeup was eye-popping, wasn't it? I mean, you knew that he was going to be throwing hard, but the changeup was a big pitch. This young man's got a changeup, not nearly as consistent as Syndergaard, but he just tried to get VR to chase one.
There's the 1-2. Gets him there with the changeup, and that'll do it for the Brewers in the third. Good first start of the first 3 innings for Castillo. 3-0 Cincinnati. Play responsibly. By Ascension, coming together to give healthcare a better name. We are Ascension. And by Pepsi. This is the Pepsi for your crew. Tough start here. This homestand of the Brew Crew. First 3 innings, anyway, has been a rough go for Milwaukee. 3-0 Cincinnati. A 3-run second inning so far for the Redlegs. Bottom of the order, Suter will face here in inning number 4. Tucker Barnhart, Phil Goslin, and Luis Castillo. Barnhart a Gold Glove winner a year ago, the first for this Reds team since Johnny Bench, who won 10 of them.
Good company to be in. Yeah, Barnhart has been impressive throughout his career. Always seems to be, going into the season as the backup. But Devin Mesoraco, the guy that he made the All-Star team a few years ago, just couldn't stay healthy. And Barnhart won the everyday job. Solid defensively. He'll come up with some big hits for you. A switch hitter. There's Mesoraco right there.
Yeah, he was, you're right, he was someone who the Reds thought would be the next big thing behind the plate, as Barnhart goes down swinging for out number 1.
Well, turns this one over right on the outside part of the plate, down in the zone. Good pitch. Make him aware of inside and then try to attack him with soft stuff away.
Here's Phil Goslin. Singled to center, part of that 3-run second inning for the Reds. He signed with Cincinnati back in December, did Goslin. It's been around the Braves, the Diamondbacks, Pirates, and the Rangers last year. Someone who can give Brian Price some versatility, can play all around the infield.
We've used a number of guys at third base with Suarez on the disabled list.
2 balls, 2 strikes. And there's a ground ball snapped up by Orlando Arcia. 2 up, 2 down in the 4th. Suter looking for a clean inning, has yet to retire the Reds in order. And he'll face Luis Castillo. Castillo laid down a sacrifice bunt in the second inning.
Got to make your pitches on this guy, as you mentioned. He's already got a couple of hits.
Curveball is fouled off, and it's 2 strikes and nothing. Brent trying to settle down. As always, works very, very quickly. Right back to it.
Remember Joe Gaggiola, the Hall of Fame broadcast, used to say about a guy like Brent Suter, he's pitching like he's double parked.
That's right.
Great line.
He had a lot of them, didn't he? Joe Gaggiola.
Yeah. That's a good one.
A ball, 2 strikes to Luis Castillo. Battling in there. Well, you don't have to worry about tempo when Suter's on the mound. Hitters will try to disrupt from time to time. And that's a good inning for Suter. A couple of more strikeouts. As for the first time tonight, he retires the Reds in order. Lorenzo Cain will hit leadoff in the bottom of the 4th. Out of the fourth. Another big night of sports coming up tomorrow. Two big matchups for you on Fox Sports Wisconsin. The Brewers and Reds will be right here on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Game 2 between the Bucks and the Celtics will be on Fox Sports Wisconsin Plus. You can also watch both games on Fox Sports Go. Check out all the Plus channel listings on foxsportswisconsin.com. Our coverage for the Brewers Reds 6 o'clock. Bucks Celtics at 6:30. Bucks trying to even that series. Man, a good one yesterday against the Celtics. Took them to overtime, but Boston just a little bit better in OT.
Yeah.
Chris Middleton flipping that 3 at the horn.
That should have been 4.
It should have been. That's a good point.
I thought he might have got him on the hand on that shot. I don't know. Did you see that?
Clearly a foul. Clearly a foul. Here's Lorenzo Cain. Cain, Santana, and Shaw. Got to get something going here for this Brewers offense. Talked about the Red struggles. The Brewers have really had their issues trying to get things going consistently. We mentioned the home run power that they flashed the first 2 games in New York. Not really able to sustain a whole lot right
They
now.
haven't had much continuity in their lineup. I mean, not that that's an excuse. It is not. Great Counsel won't use it as one, but I guess the Brewers not the only team that have been battling injuries. But you know, the continuity in that lineup, he's had to shake it up. Guys in different spots on a number of occasions, and just trying to keep it going or stay close until everybody gets healthy.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Lorenzo Cain. You mentioned Castillo pitched very well against the Brewers early September last year. Cain sends one to Jeanette. 360 from the former Brewer for out number 1.
It looked like it sounded like he got it off the handle of the bat, and that's why Jeanette was able to get there and make the play. Lorenzo not able to get it on the barrel. Nice play by Jeanette. Good throw to first.
Here's Domingo Santana. Like the cruising speed on that fastball from Castillo at 95.
Just so free and easy. It doesn't look like he's really, you know, expending a lot of energy when he throws it. I mean, he's well balanced when he gets rid of it. You really can't tell if it's a slider or a fastball when he gets out of his hand. That's the key to, you know, good pitching.
Castillo has bounced around a bit. He originally signed with the San Francisco Giants back in 2011. He's had 2 go-rounds with the Miami Marlins. Was first traded there as part of the Casey McGee deal in 2015. He moved to the Padres near the trade deadline and then sent back to the Marlins. Reds got him as a part of the Dan Straley swap in January of 2017. And another strikeout on a changeup from Luis Castillo. 2 up, 2 down in the 4th.
Getting a lot of mileage out of that pitch all of a sudden. Second time through, starting to throw a few more of them. Just such good arm action on him. You really can't tell, you know, with his delivery. He's throwing that changeup, and for a guy, you know, 25 years old, he's got a good one. He really has tonight. Back-to-back nights, the Brewers have seen pretty good changeups from guys that can throw pretty good.
Brewers have seen a lot of terrific pitching these first few weeks of the season. There's Travis Shaw. He's singled to right field, the first and only hit so far for Milwaukee. Ohio native, his dad Jeff, of course, pitched for the Reds, as well as the Dodgers. There's a chopper. Jeanette on the charge. And a 1-2-3 inning for Luis Castillo. We are through 4 at Miller Park. 3-0 Cincinnati.
Stadium, Marlins and Yankees, and it's not exactly news when Aaron Judge hits a home run. This is his 4th of the season, a solo shot in the 2nd inning off of Caleb Smith, but it is news when he becomes the quickest to 60 homers. He did it in just 197 games. Mark McGwire had the previous record in 202 games. He did that in 1988.
Yeah, he's pretty good, that Aaron Judge guy.
Just incredible power to the opposite field, right? I mean,
He does.
a lot of guys just pop that ball up, and when he hits them out there, they just don't seem to want to come down. They just keep carrying.
You're right. Brent Suter facing Billy Hamilton.
Say when we went to Yankee Stadium, last year right before the All-Star break, he could barely fit in the batting cage. He's so big.
You're right. We went down there for BP just to take a look. That is a big human being.
Yeah.
And I know we have mentioned it more than once, but every time you hear the name Aaron Judge and you see Brent Suter pitching, you just think of that matchup last year as Hamilton rolls one to Arcia, and it's great to have an arm like that with the speedy Billy Hamilton busting up the line.
Yeah, there's no waiting back on a ground ball like that off of Hamilton's bat. He is going to be flying down that line, and Orlando Arcia able to make the play easily. Yeah, one of the highlights of the year, that Aaron Judge, Brent Suter at bat at Yankee Stadium. Not only did he not get out of the box, he never got out of his stance.
You're right, it was great. In most cases, hitters will try to disrupt Suter by stepping away, taking a little time before they settle in. Judge took the opposite approach. It was the at-bat of the year.
Yeah.
There's Jose Peraza. Fly to right, a ground ball to short. And here's one over to Shaw at third. And Aguilar taps the bag in time for out number 2.
There's that cutter. He lost it in the 2nd inning. Since that time, it's been much better, but sometimes it only takes 1 inning when your offense has been scuffling a bit. Left some pitches out over the plate. Bottom of the order for the Reds, getting it done in that inning.
Yeah, Phillip Ervin got it started with a double. There's Joey Votto. Single to left in the 1st inning, and then line to Shaw. And an excuse me swing back to Suter, and that's 8 in a row now, retired by the Brewers left-hander. So he has settled down. We are halfway through. It's 3-0 Cincinnati.
All season long, you can stay in the loop on all things Brewers with MLB.com At Bat, the official app of the Brewers. With At Bat, you get breaking news, live radio broadcasts, and lineup updates sent right to your fingertips. Download At Bat today, free for your smartphone or tablet.
Jesus Aguilar leads off the bottom of the 5th here for the Brew Crew. They can start to get to Luis Castillo, who has been very impressive through the first 4, giving up just a hit and a walk. Aguilar has been hitting the ball hard of late. 4 hits in the road trip, including a 3-hit game against the Mets.
Injuries have him in the lineup, but I think his production warrants the playing time. I mean, he's been barreling up a lot of pitches.
And a swing and a miss here for out number 1. That is 6 strikeouts now for Castillo.
Sliders, changeups, fastballs. He's got good location on all of them. Yep, another changeup. He's had a lot of swing and misses on that pitch.
Well, he's showing some of the form that he had a year ago. Best among rookie pitchers last year in terms of holding opponents' batting average down. In fact, it was .202 against him in his appearances last year. There's Hernan Perez.
He's been susceptible to the home run ball this year. He's given up 4 of them. All of his other numbers look pretty good. I mean, 16 innings, 17 hits coming in, not terrible. 270 opponent batting average, but no, it's the home runs that have come at a bad time for him. Had that blow-up start, his first start against Washington.
It's a team with that lineup that can happen. Bryce Harper and company. Mentioned the Brewers had the big bats in the first 2 games of that Mets series. Let's check out the Powerball home run leaderboard. Eric Thames at the top with 5. Ryan Braun next in line with 3. Perez and Shaw each with 2. Hernan getting his in the just completed road trip. 1 in St. Louis, 1 in New York.
He's always had good numbers against Cincinnati.
Talk about some of these Reds hitters against the Brewers. Perez can do a little damage here, and he draws a walk. So 1 out, 1 on here in inning number 5. Here's Orlando Arcia. At 1 home run Saturday night. A 5-1 Brewers victory. A rare win without a lot of drama. Milwaukee, a team that has won 5 one-run games, has dropped a couple, including the 2, or both of them were against the Mets in New York. Down to the wire, that's been the norm, right?
Yeah. A cruise control game with Chase Anderson out of the mound on Saturday.
And the Brew Crew got to Matt Harvey.
Of course, cruise control for everybody but Anderson, I would imagine. I mean, he had to work pretty hard, but as Oliver Drake gets loose, just in case Brett Suter's spot in the lineup comes up.
Arcia hitting 7th in the order. Jet Bandy is on deck. Arcia's average at 163. Yet he has 3 game-winning RBIs this season, including in St. Louis when he took a bases-loaded walk last Monday night.
A rare walk for Orlando Arcia. Yeah.
A ball, a strike. The Brewers shortstop. And Arcia goes the other way, and that's going to fall, a base hit. Irvin keeping it in front of him, but Perez still on the run, going to third. Arcia on his way to second as the throw goes through.
Boy, that's pretty risky for Arcia. Man, had Peraza been able to pick that short hop, he would have been an easy out at second base. It got through him. That pretty good piece of hitting by Arcia on a fastball away. That's the way it's done right there. That's a good looking piece of hitting and takes it into right field. Perez sees that the ball goes off of the body of Irvin. He gets into third easily, but pretty risky base running by Orlando Arcia to get to second base. If he picks that, he's easy. And easy out at second.
A little break there maybe for the Brew Crew. Runners at second and third with one out for Jet Bandy. Bandy, one of those Brewers who went deep in the series against the Mets. Solo shot on Friday. We'll check that on Saturday. Here's how it looked. Again, mentioned the Brewers got to Harvey, and this was Bandy getting it done, launching one into the seats in left field.
A couple of hits on Saturday night for Jet. He's had a lot of playing time and starting to feel a little bit better at the plate.
Ball a strike. First threat of the night for Milwaukee. Walk to Perez. Base hit from Arcia. Fastball misses to Bandy. 2-1 the count. Remember, the Brewers have Oliver Drake getting loose in the bullpen. And Suter is the on-deck hitter. Off speed for strike two. Numbers with runners in scoring position. It has not been good here for Craig Counsell's team. Opportunity here to try to turn that around a bit. 2 balls, 2 strikes to the Milwaukee catcher.
He got a piece of that changeup. It's been a big pitch for Castillo tonight. Jet hanging in there. Tough pitch. Just able to get a piece of it.
5th straight start for Bandy. Strained calf that Manny Pena is dealing with, and Pena now on the 10-day disabled list. The 2-2. That is strikeout number 7 for Castillo. 2 away.
And that's a big one with the infield back for Cincinnati. Conceding a run. Guess what? Changeup. Back-to-back games for the Brewers, having to face terrific changeups with pitchers on the mound that are throwing in the upper 90s.
2 away with Perez at third, Arcia at second. Pitching coach Mac Jenkins making his way to the Miller Park mound. A little scouting report time because Craig Counsell will go to his bench. The night will end for Brent Suter as Eric Sogard will come on to pinch hit.
5 innings for Brent Suter. Had 1 bad inning.
Three-run second. Difference in the game here so far. But now an opportunity for Sogard. Eric has started 5 times this season. There's a couple of pinch hits in 5 tries, 5 at-bats. Trying to get the Brew Crew on the board here in the bottom of the 5th.
Always gives you a good at-bat, very patient at the plate. Got the count in his favor. Looking for a fastball here.
A good eye was a big help last year when he was at the top of the order for some 50 games. Good on base percentage. Castillo with a 2-0. First of 19 meetings between these two clubs. Brewers against the Reds at Miller Park last year, won 7 of the 9. Won in walk-off fashion on the wild pitch when Sogard raced home for the game-winning run. It was an August series here at Miller Park. 2-1. Sogard shoots one foul down the line.
Man, be alive for the changeup here. Problem is with Castillo, you can't sit on that pitch. He throws too hard. Look for fastball, react to off speed is your only chance.
First tester of an inning tonight for Luis Castillo. Brings the 2-2, and there's a drive hit back into deep right field, and it is a foul ball.
Wow. Just barely foul if it was. Craig Counsell's taking a look at it in the dugout. Fastball down the middle. Sogard gets the bat head out. And just does hook foul. Yep. You see, it never does disappear behind the foul pole.
Sogard has hit into some tough luck in the last couple of days. Hit one deep to right field at Citi Field, but the wind was howling in from right. Knocked a fly ball down. This one he just pulled a touch. So a reload for Luis Castillo. The 2-2 again. Eric Sogard pinch hitting for Brent Suter. After Aguilar began the inning with a strikeout, Castillo walked Perez. Arcia single, moved to second. Runners were at second and third. Bandy struck out. And a 2-2 count and holding to Eric Sogard. Little tapper to Votto. And Castillo wiggles out of trouble. The Brewers strand a pair, and we are through 5. It's still 3-0 Reds.
as we head to the 6th here at Miller Park. Time now for our UW Whitewater scouting report. Freddie Peralta yesterday moved to 3-0 on the season in AAA with the Sky Sox. A great outing for him yesterday. 6 innings, gave up just 2 earned runs on 7 hits with 7 strikeouts and a walk. You see his numbers on the season, a 3-0 record for him. The earned run average just 1.13, and those 20 strikeouts lead the Pacific League, so he's off to a great start. He's the 10th best prospect in the organization, according to MLB Pipeline.
Yeah, part of that strong organizational depth there, Rock.
That's good arms down there. They really do. Well, Oliver Drake making appearance number 7. He has got a stretch going of 5 consecutive appearances without allowing a run. Last pitched on Friday against the Mets. A scoreless inning and struck out the side.
He'll face Adam Duvall, Scooter Gennett, and Phillip Ervin. 0-1 the count to Duvall. When the Brewers brought him over from the Baltimore Orioles, they put him to work right away. As a matter of fact, Drake's first appearance as a Brewer was the middle of April in Cincinnati. One of the things he could do for Counsell was work multiple innings. In fact, he worked 2 innings on that day against Cincinnati, a Brewers win. 2 strikes and nothing to Duvall.
Effective against right-handers and left-handers, but throwing the ball well. He had a really good spring. Split-fingered fastball has been working for him. Picked up his first win of the season back in San Diego.
Ball's 2 strikes to Duvall, who has struck out and singled to left. That is hit well down the line and left, and that is going to be a fair ball. Duvall will take the turn, and it's a leadoff double for Adam Duvall. Hit number 7 for Cincinnati.
Yeah, they're swinging the bats well. They had 4 of those hits in the 2nd inning. There's a split-fingered fastball that just kind of stayed straight. Didn't really go down at all, and just inside that line actually hits the foul line, and a leadoff double for Cincinnati.
A 2-hit night for Adam Duvall. Here is Scooter Gennett. Grounded to second, hit a fly ball out to Lorenzo Cain in the 3rd. To a very nice start at the plate is Gennett for a team that has dropped 13 of its first 15 games. The start for Cincinnati is the roughest. You have to go back to 1931. They started 2-17. They've lost 8 in a row. Brian Price's team has dealt with a lot of injuries that we have talked about.
They beat the Cubs and the Pirates this year.
2 balls, no strikes to Scooter Gennett, and that's a fair ball down the line, and that's going to score Adam Duvall. Gennett on his way to second. Back-to-back doubles for Cincinnati, and it's a 4-0 game in the 6th.
Yeah, fastball up out over the plate, and Gennett goes right with it. Didn't try and pull it. Shoots it inside the 3rd baseline, and back-to-back doubles. Been a rough night for the Brewers skipper. 92 miles an hour. It had the corner, but it was up. That's just a good piece of hitting by Gennett. Rips it down the line, and Duvall able to score easily.
Fifth RBI of the year for Scooter Gennett. Here's Phillip Ervin. He has doubled and scored tonight. First pitch swinging. Arcia, VR. Now they've got Gennett hung up in a rundown, and Shaw will apply the tag. There you go. Well, Gennett with a base running mistake right there. Ground ball to the left side, and he got caught in no man's land.
Yeah, Scooter will do that. I think a little over enthusiastic right there, and Runs himself into an out. Good play by Archie to realize that he's a little bit too far off the bag. He's in no man's land, and Brewers able to get him out. They performed the rundown well, and Irvin not able to advance to second base.
6-4-5 to retire Jeanette. Philip Irvin, the runner at first for Tucker Barnhart. Barnhart opened up the scoring, a RBI single in the second inning. They're trying to get him to roll into a ground ball here. Roll into a double play. Turned into a very good catcher for this Reds ball club.
He's actually turned himself into a pretty good hitter as well. Yeah, makes good contact, a switch hitter. Plays a lot for this team. You don't hear a whole lot about Tucker Barnhart, but he's a Gold Glover behind home plate.
Also was a minor league Gold Glove winner a few years ago. The best catcher in all of minor league baseball. Indiana native. Right about the hitting, though. He hit .270 last year. His on-base percentage .347. You will more than take that.
No kidding.
And with the injury issues of Mesoraco, Barnhart is a guy the Reds have had to go to for 100, 105 starts a year behind the plate. Drake with a 1-2 pitch. Oliver Drake touched up here in the 6th inning. Leadoff double from Duvall. Jeanette followed with an RBI double.
Having a difficult time getting that splitter down in the strike zone. Leaving it up. Hitter's able to get a good swing on it.
One-two. Irvin's running, and Barnhart fouls it away. He can move a little bit. Mentioned he didn't play a lot last year after being called up 28 games, but he did steal 4 bases.
Yeah, 1 for 2 this year.
And Drake will load up again. And the 1-2. Little chopper. It's Travis Shaw. No play at second. Out number 2 as Irvin moves on to second.
Hey, come to Miller Park for Marvel Superheroes Night this coming Saturday. Special team night packages include a seat to the Brewers game against the Marlins, plus a limited edition Brewers Captain America bobblehead. Learn more at brewers.com/theme nights.
That is a sweet looking jacket you just saw. Right there, huh?
Yeah.
Come on, man. Come on, Travis. There you go. So that's a good look.
Is that
stole your jacket?
Would that be considered official Fox Sports Wisconsin apparel? Would that be allowed? As long as it's a jacket, right?
We can always ask.
Throw a tie on it.
We can always ask. Intentional walk to Phil Goslin.
No, we don't want to ask. Just beg for mercy afterwards.
Ask for forgiveness, not permission, right? There you go. Kind of like it.
Yeah. I think it fits you better than with me.
It looks good on you, though, right? One strike pitch to Castillo. Sack bunted, a strikeout for the Reds pitcher tonight. Reds with a run across here in the 6th inning. And Castillo has been pitching very well for Cincinnati. Reds have been in search of some strong pitching for a while. It's been an issue this season. It's been an issue with that ball club for the last few years.
Yeah, a lot of young guys out there on the mound in the starting rotation. And Homer Bailey, who's throwing well, but he's 0-3.
He has pitched into some very bad luck, including yesterday against St. Louis. And there is a base hit down the line in right. Irvin rounds third. The throw from Santana is offline, and it's 5-0 Cincinnati on a run-scoring single from Luis Castillo.
No, you walk Goslin to make sure that the pitcher is going to make the last out in the inning. He's able to tuck one inside that first baseline. Wow. He mentioned it. This guy can hit a little bit. His third hit. You see that fastball up and away, and Castillo does a pretty good job getting on top of it and keeping it fair down the line. This ball game is getting danger of getting out of hand for Milwaukee. Down 5-0 against a guy that's been really pitching well.
Here's Hamilton, a 2-run single from Hamilton in the 2nd inning, part of that 3-run frame against Brent Suter. Suter settled down. He retired the last 8 hitters he faced. But Oliver Drake has found it very rough here in inning number 6.
And Brewers needed offense too, so they had to pinch hit for him. Had his spot not come up, he'd still be out there.
Yeah, Brewers missed an opportunity. Runners at 2nd and 3rd, 1 out. Jeff Bandy struck out. And Eric Sogard, after just missing what would have been a game-tying home run, ended up grounding out the Votto. 2 strikes and nothing to Billy Hamilton. Ongoing issues with Billy Hamilton. They so desperately want him to be that leadoff hitter who could get on base more than he does. He's taking some walks now, which is a different story for him. His career, he would walk just once in every 14 plate appearances. But on base percentage, not what you want out of the leadoff spot. At times he has hit at the bottom of the order. That kind of speed just have not been able to get him going consistently at the plate.
They're starting to walk a little bit more this year. 8 walks.
Drake ahead of the count, 1-2, runners going, and there's another run scoring single. Billy Hamilton with a 3 RBI night as Goslin is in, and it's 6-0 Cincinnati.
A pair of 3-run innings for Cincinnati. Now that wasn't a bad split-fingered fastball right there. Billy Hamilton goes down and just kind of golfs it out there into center field. It's down, not a bad pitch, but a pretty good job of keeping that bat in the hitting zone and dumps it into center field. 10 hits for Cincinnati. Oh, they came in here, and the word on the Reds was nobody hitting. They're all hitting tonight.
Well, we sat up here and had a bit of an uneasy feeling. That lineup that the Reds have, even with the injuries, there's some production in there that just hasn't surfaced, but it is surfacing tonight as that gets away from Bandy and everybody advances. Castillo to 3rd, Hamilton to 2nd.
That split-fingered fastball down in the dirt. Looked like Jet tried to backhand it. actually curveball. And just couldn't keep it close enough, and the pitcher Castillo able to advance.
Three runs for the Reds here off Drake in the 6th. And 2 more in scoring position for Jose Peraza. Peraza, part of a couple of 3-team trades in his career. The most recent one a couple years back brought him to Cincinnati, Dodgers and the White Sox. It was all part of the Todd Frazier swap. It sent Frazier from Cincinnati to the White Sox. 2 strikes and nothing to the Red shortstop. And that's hit well down the line in left field, and that's a fair ball. 2 more runs will score as Peraza has a double, and the Reds blow it open here in the 6th. It has been a mess of an inning for Oliver Drake, as 8 have stepped to the plate. The Reds will be batting around here in inning number 6.
And just having all kinds of problems with that split-fingered fastball, and then when he's gets himself behind an account, Reds are teeing off on the fastball as well. Difficult time working ahead, although he was 0-2 in that count. And left his splitter in off the plate, and Peraza able to rip it down the left field line. So it's the splitter that's been the culprit tonight.
That's Jorge Lopez getting loose in the Milwaukee bullpen. Called up last Wednesday from Colorado Springs. Here's Joey Votto, the 9th man to hit in the inning for the Reds. And there's a fly ball hit back into deep center field, and that's going to go to the wall. Another run will score, and it's 9-0 Cincinnati. That is the first extra base hit of the year for Joey Votto.
And jumped on the first pitch. Well, the Brewers can't get Jorge Lopez loose and ready quick enough at this point. Fastball right down the middle, and Joey Votto rips it over to the head of Kane in center. And the nightmare inning continues. The Reds have batted around.
Six runs in the 6th inning for the Reds. Here is Adam Duvall, who got it all started with a double. Duvall also singled to left in the 3rd inning. He has raised his batting average 29 points tonight.
It's such a lonely feeling for a guy out there. Drake has been really throwing the ball well. He just can't find anything tonight. His splitters have been up in the zone. Fastball's been down the middle. And the Reds have been teeing off, trying to get that final out.
An ERA buster kind of night for Oliver Drake. 2-strike pitch. Finally, the inning is over. Well, it takes a called 3rd strike, but not before the Reds push across 6 runs and increase their lead to 9-0. Time for the Built for Baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. The story of this game really, Rock, is that changeup for Luis Castillo.
Yeah, it's been outstanding. I mean, back-to-back games. First it was Syndergaard yesterday with the big fastball and a changeup, and we're seeing pretty much the same here tonight. Every now and again he's going to be mixing in a slider, but he has certainly got the feel for the changeup tonight.
And he now has a 9-run lead as he faces the top of the Milwaukee batting order. Jonathan Villar, Lorenzo Cain, and Domingo Santana. Castillo with 7 strikeouts, including 2 of Jonathan Villar tonight. Has been rolling. The only inning the Brewers mounted a threat was the 5th. And they stranded runners at 2nd and 3rd.
Yeah, 2nd and 3rd and 1 out. Not able to get on the board. Reds tonight are 7 for 9 with runners in scoring position.
That'll win you a lot of games.
Not bad for a team that hasn't been hitting.
Their numbers very similar really to the Brewers in that regard. Their offense with the runners in scoring position. 2 balls, 2 strikes to VR.
This makes it so difficult on hitters when you know a guy that throws in the upper 90s can drop a changeup on you and put it in a good spot. I mean, you have no idea what's coming next. Castillo's been throwing that changeup in just about any count.
We're seeing that on back-to-back days. Syndergaard yesterday and Castillo tonight.
What makes it so effective is that you really can't determine the difference in a spin and the changeup and the fastball. Slider, you can see the different rotation. I mean, you might have a better look at it, but changeup, outstanding pitch.
Again, the 2-2. And again, Villar goes down on strikes. Castillo is rolling along, and take a wild guess on the pitch they retired Villar.
Yeah. You get 2 guesses and the first one doesn't count. Again, a changeup. And you know what? I mean, even you can't sit on that pitch because he throws so hard.
And he was good last year. Pitched to a 3.12 earned run average. The record was a deceiving one as Lorenzo Cain chops the Votto to covering Castillo for out number 2. Here's Domingo Santana. Looking to get that power going a bit. 30 homer season a year ago. Castillo last year lost 7 of his 10 decisions, but the ERA would tell you he deserved far better. Change up, and it's 0-2. Two-strike pitch on the way to Santana. New crew with just 2 hits tonight. And a fly ball hit back into center field. Billy Hamilton going back, trying to time the jump, and he timed it well. Up against the wall. Hamilton for out number 3. It has been that kind of night here at Miller Park. Billy Hamilton, big night at the plate, and he's done this a few times in his career. It's 9-0 Cincinnati. Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Miller Lights. Great taste at only 96 calories. And by Toyota. Let's go places.
Back at Miller Park, where the Reds have a 9-0 lead over the Brewers as we start this 7-game homestand. And yesterday, all MLB players, managers, coaches, umpires, and on-field personnel wore the number 42 yesterday to honor the 71st anniversary of Jackie Robinson's historic debut. You can now own a piece of baseball history by taking home an autographed number 42 Jackie Robinson Day jersey, available at MLB.com/42 jersey. And all of those proceeds will benefit the Jackie Robinson Foundation.
Very special day yesterday, very special day every year. Rachel Robinson, in fact, in attendance at Citi Field in New York yesterday.
Good stuff. Amazing. It's great that Major League Baseball makes such a big deal about Jackie Robinson and how he had such an influence on our game today. Not just baseball and sports, society.
One of the great figures in American history. New battery here for the Brewers as Jorge Lopez on the mound now. And the Major League debut of Jacob Nottingham.
There you go. Get it out of the way, kid. You're in the baseball encyclopedia now.
That's right. And Lopez starts by walking Scooter Gennett here in the top half of the 7th inning.
Man, last time we saw Lopez, he came in. He was here last year, one game. 2015, a couple of games. Got called up on Wednesday from AAA. He last pitched down in the minor leagues on Tuesday.
As the Brewers organization's minor league pitcher of the year back in 2015. Facing Phillip Ervin.
Little comfort factor for both of these guys, Nottingham, Lopez, both playing together.
That's right. Get their feet wet in the big leagues now as Ervin smacks a single to right. He's not starting well here for Lopez in the 7th inning. The Reds busted this open with a 6-run 6th off Oliver Drake. Their bats are alive in a very loud way here tonight.
They've been very aggressive up there, swinging early in the count against Brett Suter. He did that in the 2nd inning, and then they have not stopped since. 13 hits.
There's Tucker Barnhart. His RBI single opened up the scoring. Part of a 3-run second for Cincinnati. A 13-hit attack for the Reds.
Well, Craig Counsell is in a tough spot. You know, he'd love to be able to take Lorenzo Cain, give him some time off his feet, but the bench for the Brewers is very thin. They only have Thames and Braun left. Probably give Travis Shaw some time off. Can't do it.
Braun, remember, dealing with back tightness. So in just a very tough spot.
You got to figure out ways to have some type of a benefit even in a game like this, and maybe giving those two guys a couple innings off. They just can't do it. He's kind of stuck.
2 strikes and nothing to Tucker Barnhart. This is popped up into foul territory and carry out a play. There you go. Best way to get a foul ball. Have someone soft toss you one.
Let them get the bruise, and then you just get it handed to you. You ever caught a foul ball?
My dad did. On a rebound.
Yeah.
Old Riverfront Stadium.
Who hit it?
Off the bat of Johnny Bench.
There you go. You still have it?
I do.
All right.
But see, I'm not like, I don't feel like I should be asking for autographs, although that might make the bag when we go to Cincinnati in a few weeks, just in case he's there. It's not real comfortable doing that. So could you do it for me?
He would for you. I'll go ask him. Yeah. I'll just say, hey, my partner is afraid to ask you, so I'm going to ask. Don't shoot the messenger.
Yeah.
We're going to get it signed. You know. Do you feel comfortable if we leave it in Cincinnati and maybe have him sign it down the road?
That would work.
Or you?
Actually, I don't know if I want to give it up. Be a little nervous about giving it up. Well, maybe.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Double play chance. Lopez, Arcia, Aguilar, much needed. 1-6-3 double play.
You know, the other thing about that is if you don't actually, if you're not there when he signs, it doesn't mean as much. I mean,
that's exactly right.
The personal contact with Johnny Bench. I mean, that's what makes the autograph.
Yeah, growing up about an hour north of Cincinnati, he was kind of my guy. That was a guy that you were a Jerry Grody guy. Right?
Jerry Grody and right? Johnny Bench, Ray Fosse, all those guys. Yep. If you were a catcher back in those days, those are the guys you watched.
So, Mr. Bench, you remember when you just missed that pitch from Matt Lack back in a game in 1974?
Yeah,
that's our foul ball right here.
You know what? I bet he's watching tonight. Of course, maybe not our feed.
Check it out, Tom Brenneman, Chris Welsh, right? There's Phil Goslin. Did you ever catch one growing up?
I did not.
No?
Nope. My seats were never close enough when I was growing up. Yankee Stadium, Philly.
Kind of up there a little bit.
Yeah.
There's a ground ball to Arcia. There you go. That's good work out of Jorge Lopez. It's a lopsided game. That's a nice inning for Lopez. Matchups for you on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Brewers and Reds will be right here on Fox Sports Wisconsin. And game 2 between the Bucks and the Celtics will be on Fox Sports Wisconsin Plus. You can also watch both games on Fox Sports Go. Check out all the Plus channel listings on foxsportswisconsin.com. 6 o'clock, we'll get it rolling from Miller Park. 6:30 for the Bucks and the Celtics on Fox Sports Wisconsin Plus. Bucks trying to even that series, bring it back here, tied at 1.
Got to take care of the ball, right, tomorrow?
That's right.
3 turnovers.
Keep Giannis on the floor. Fouled out in that game.
And you don't think I know basketball.
You're all over it. You're all over it. That's the good when in doubt. Protect the ball.
Right.
Make shots. Travis Shaw leading off. Shaw, Aguilar, and Perez. On a very rough night at the yard for the Brew Crew. Brewers at the plates tonight. Travis Shaw 1 for 2. Second inning single to right and a ground ball to Scooter Gennett in the fourth. 1-2 pitch to Shaw, and he sends one into left field. Room for Adam Duvall for out number 1. Luis Castillo continues to roll.
It's kind of pretty good shape, right? I mean, he's got a chance to maybe give him another inning.
And to think this game was very nearly tied in the 5th inning. Jesus Aguilar at the plate. It was 3-0 Cincinnati in the bottom of the 5th. The Brewers had runners at second and third with 2 outs. Eric Sogard was pinch hitting, and he smoked one but pulled it just foul down the right field line. There's Aguilar. He continues to hit the ball hard. There's a base hit for Jesus.
Well, he seems to be able to find the barrel. Good hitter. He's been swinging it well. Hey, tonight's time of the game winner, Aliota's Pub and Grill in Milwaukee. If they call the Brewers by 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, they get 40 tickets to a Friday night game in the Miller Lite Beer Pen. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite.
Nice crowd out here on a Monday night with the weather being as it is. These folks shovel in the driveway during the day and coming to watch baseball at night. Not bad.
Did you have to get out in your driveway today?
I just ran over it. Just drove right over it.
Still there?
Yeah, it's still there.
Waiting for it to melt?
Yeah, exactly. It's going to warm up here eventually, Rock.
Why waste your time, right?
Oh, yeah. I don't want to waste the gas. Come on. I trust yours is all taken care of.
Yeah, I had to get out the snow thrower, though, front and up near the garage.
There on Perez, a little liner that Gennett will climb the ladder and get. 2 outs.
Well, inside out it did Perez, and just not quite able to get it over to the head of Scooter Gennett. A well-timed lead. They had to haul it in.
There was something to look on everybody's faces when we got off the plane last night.
Yeah.
Chipping the ice off the windshields and all of that.
Little bumpy coming in last night.
A touch. Bounced a little bit.
A lot of wind.
It'll get better. We'll get spring. I hope. There's Orlando Arcia. You get summers here and late summer, there's no place we'd rather be. Right.
Festival time.
Oh, yeah. All kinds of fun stuff throughout the state, and especially here in Milwaukee. Great place to be anytime. But we're going to be heading into the spring and summer months. I know technically it is spring, but we'll actually get spring here at some point.
Yeah. Supposed to warm up this week.
Is it?
50s. I'll take it.
Take that in a heartbeat. 2 balls, 1 strike to Arcia. Arcia singled his last time up. First and only time really that Milwaukee has had anything going tonight. Two balls, 2 strikes with Aguilar the runner at first. Back up the middle. Gennett saves, or actually an infield single, excuse me, as he's able to knock it down, and that's it. Aguilar stops at second base, and the Brewers have runners at first and second with 2 men out.
Yeah, pretty good job right there by Orlando Arcia. That was one of those change ups in and down, pulls the hands in and able to get enough of it to roll it for an infield single.
And now the first big league at bat for Jacob Nottingham.
And how many nights do you think he sat around wondering what this was going to be like?
23 years old, the catcher out of California. And he gets his first at bat of the big leagues right here and right now.
It's good that he's able to get in right away. Don't have to sit around wondering.
Comes in on a good note with his first AAA homer right before being called up.
Got mom, dad, family around here at the ballpark. Going to be here all week.
Scrambled to get here. There they are. Mom and dad, the Nottingham family. Scrambling to get those airline tickets and get out here. What a moment.
Yep.
It just never gets old seeing a moment like this. 2 balls, no strikes.
Talked about on the pregame show that Jacob tried to get a hold of mom and dad, couldn't get a hold of them. Dad was at the supermarket. Finally got a hold of mom, and she jumped in the car and raced to the supermarket and told dad. Needless to say, it was quite the experience.
3 balls, no strikes to Nottingham. Takes all the way for strike 1. The question will be, can he hit as he continues to move up, getting some golden experience right now. Biloxi last year hit for 209. He's a rock solid 6'3", about 225. 3-1 pitch. Not yet, Jacob. Full count.
Fastball trying to catch the inside corner. Actually caught the outside corner. Barnhart didn't. He had to reach for it. That's why the fans got a little excited.
Nottingham, part of that trade coming over along with Bubba Derby, the Chris Davis deal a couple of years ago. Payoff pitch, and Nottingham takes ball 4. There you go.
Yeah. No, they look calm.
Bases are loaded. That's the good news, and the bad news beyond the score is the fact that Craig Counsell's really in a box here. We've talked about how limited the bench is. Thames is banged up. Braun is banged up. It's a 9-run game, so Jorge Lopez will hit. Try that reverse jinx here.
Yeah.
With Arcia, he was struggling and he drilled one out of here. So now let's see what Lopez does.
Well, Castillo got a RBI single. Return the favor.
Jorge has had a couple of big league at bats. Fed an off speed pitch from Castillo. Now it's 0-2. Rough night for Counsell's team. The manager has seen his club get just 4 hits. And the 2-strike pitch to Lopez. That's in the air, right center field, and that's up the gap. Couple of runs are going to score. Lopez digging for second. There you go.
Well, you never know, do you? You have a bat in your hand, you're always dangerous. Who needs a pinch hitter?
Overrated.
Right. Do it yourself. There you go.
Good for you, Jorge Lopez.
Brewers on the board. Jacob Nottingham with a walk. And check out Lopez on a pitch in. And drives it into the gap out there. Billy Hamilton with really good speed out there. He gets to it before Nottingham can score. Yep, he got the barrel on that one.
First 2 runs of the night for the Milwaukee Brewers, and Jorge Lopez now has a career batting average of .333. He's 1 for 3. Pitching change here at Miller Park. The Reds up by 7. Puts the Milwaukee Brewers on the board. Still an awfully steep hill, but a pretty sweet moment for Jorge Lopez. The night ends for Luis Castillo, the Reds' young pitcher. Very impressive tonight. 6 2/3 of 5-hit 2-run ball.
Man, no kidding. I mean, he's got good stuff, and he's going to have a nice career and has had really good success in now 3 career starts against the Brewers. As Cody Reed takes over here in the 7th, his 3rd game, 675 earned run average. One of 3 left-handers down in that Reds bullpen.
Will face Jonathan Villar as they turn Villar around to the right side of the plate. Very rough night at the ballpark for Villar. Castillo punched him out 3 times. Runners at 2nd and 3rd. And a 2-1 count to Villar.
And not a hard thrower. I mean, you know, upper 80s and low 90s for Reed. He's got a good changeup. Slider to go with it. See if Villar can dump one into the outfield and make this interesting.
Why not? 2 balls, 1 strike. And that gets by Barnhart. Here comes Nottingham, and it's a 9-3 game. Trying to chip away.
Hey, just put a little doubt in the Reds' minds here. I mean, comfortable lead 9-0. They're 2-13, and you know they don't have a lot of confidence. And so just try to keep the pressure on. That one gets by Barnhart. That doesn't happen very often. He's solid behind home plate.
And Villar, a run-scoring single. That'll bring in Lopez, and it's 9-4. 4-run inning for the Brew Crew.
Just get that mentality in that Reds dugout saying, here we go again. And the Brewers able to do it. All this coming with 2 outs. 3 hits and a walk. Right down the middle. Villar with his first base hit. Getting a base hit as a right-handed batter this time. And drives in a run.
So the Brewers punching back. After falling behind 9-0, they are now within 5. Another pitching change here at Miller Park. Up a RBI single, and now Kevin Quackenbush is on.
Now you see these earned run averages coming out of that Reds bullpen. Not very impressive. Quackenbush in game number 8 He was a non-roster invite to spring training, made the club, and trying to get out of this 7th inning for Cincinnati.
The collective ERA of the Reds bullpen is .596 coming into this game. Here's Lorenzo Cain. Cain tonight has struck out and has grounded out twice. Quackenbush, last 4 years with the San Diego Padres, signed with the Reds late October. Oh, 1-1 the count to the Brewers center fielder. Talked about the home runs these teams hit against each other last year, 72 combined. Haven't seen one tonight in a 9-4 game. Joey Votto, though, showing signs of life at the plate. Couple of hits. Brewers showing signs of life in the 7th inning here. 2-strike pitch.
Their Brewers with 4 hits in the inning. They came into this inning with 2 hits.
Cain trying to get it going. Great start series in San Diego. Average sitting at .259 right now. The ball, 2 strikes. Villar the runner at first.
Time worrying about Jonathan Villar with a 5-run lead.
Maybe he'll hang one up there for Cain to drive. The 1-2. There's a base hit to right field. Spinning toward the line. Villar around to third. And this 7th inning continues.
Yeah, now the big fly, huh? Domingo Santana nearly hit one out his last time up. He's hanging in there, and a good piece of hitting by Lorenzo Cain. There's your curveball. He left one up. You called that, didn't you? Left one up, worrying about Villar, and Lorenzo goes right with it. That's just a nice swing and rips it down the line. So 1st and 3rd with 2 outs. Long ball here. Get a little sweating in that Reds dugout.
Yes, sir. Here's Santana. Took Billy Hamilton to the wall to end the last inning. Ninth man to hit for Milwaukee in the 7th. Quackenbush with a 1-0. Pours one in there to even the count. '29-year-old Kevin Quackenbush facing Domingo Santana. Elevates, and Santana cannot catch up to it. Domingo with but 3 RBIs so far this season. The 1-2. He won't chase. Travis Shaw is on deck. Villar, the runner at third. Cain over at first. Here's the 2-2. That was strike 3 called. And that'll do it for the Brewers in the 7th inning, but they put 4 on the board. We move to the 8th. 9-4 Reds.
moment here for the Nottingham family as Jacob Nottingham gets into the game, gets his first at-bat, draws a walk, comes around to score. I'm joined by his dad, Greg. And Greg, just what a whirlwind 24 hours for you guys since Jacob got the call that he was being called up. And can you share how you found out that he was getting the call?
So we were back home in Redlands, California, and we had just got done watching his game at Colorado Springs. And I went to the grocery store to buy stuff for dinner. My wife Blanca stayed home, and when I came out of the grocery store, I saw her pull up in our other car, and she says, "Hey, where's your phone?" I'm like, "In my pocket." And she says, "Well, Jacob's trying to call you." So we went out to the car, and he called again, and he says, "Hey, when are you guys going to come and watch me play?" I'm like, "Buddy, when it warms up in Colorado Springs." He says, "No, in Milwaukee." All the people in the parking lot must have thought we were a bunch of blithering idiots because we're all bawling, staring at this phone, and it really was a surreal moment.
And what are your emotions now just to see him behind home plate here, catching, he makes his first at bat? Just what are your emotions like now to see him on the field?
You know, it's been such a long road, especially for him. You know, he's fought through injuries when he was younger, and you know, he's worked really hard. He's got a lot of support from his coaches and everybody back home. From being a little boy all the way up, and you know, I know the whole city's pulling for him, and it really is a lot of fun.
And it was 10 of you that hopped on a plane out of LAX this morning to be here for this moment.
Yeah, that was much more stressful than him calling. You know, trying to get plane reservations and shuttles and all that stuff. You know, his brothers are here, their fiancés are here, the grandkids are here, and it really made it special. He really wanted them to be here because they're all so close.
Well, that's awesome. Congratulations to you and to your family. Great that you could be here. And Matt and Rock, we know, you know, those moments are so special, not just to the players, but for the families who support them along this ride as well.
Absolutely. The family's a lot more nervous watching maybe than Jacob is playing, right, Rock?
Yeah, well, once you get into it, I mean, you're okay. But the families, they sit there in the stands. They really have no control over what happens. And good that Jacob and his family can be together tonight. I would imagine there's going to be a little celebration after tonight's game. Win, lose, or draw. A lot to be proud of for Jacob Nottingham.
He's doing what he can here, too, with his team down 9-0 when he came in. That walk he took was big. Set up Jorge Lopez for the 2-run double, but he extended the inning. It was a good plate appearance by Jacob. Jorge Lopez getting his second inning of work. He walked the pinch hitter Jesse Winker to get things started. It was interesting talking to Nottingham. We both had a chance to chat with him a little bit, and he was telling you that, you know, the story about the family finding out and how it find out. And it is documented he could have played football. The University of Arizona viewed him as a linebacker.
He's a big boy.
Yeah, they wanted him to be a bigger one. They were looking for him to be about 250, and they said he's rock solid. But he thought, it might be a little much if you want to play baseball, and that's the route that he has chosen, obviously. But you stand next to him, you get an idea why Arizona liked him on the gridiron. Tough start here to this 8th inning for Lopez. Back-to-back walks. He got into a little trouble in the 7th as well. The first 2 reached, but was then able to get a double play and a ground ball to get out of the inning. Marine pitching coach Derek Johnson out to the mound.
Yeah, been a long night for Derek Johnson as well.
Brent Suter started the game. The rough inning for him was the 2nd when he gave up all 3 of the runs he allowed through 5 innings. But Suter bounced back. He retired the last 8 Reds he faced, but it was a very rough night for Oliver Drake. 6 runs allowed in his inning.
Yeah, the Brewers needed offense. They had to pinch hit for Suter. And since the bullpen has come in, it's been rough going. They'll get another ground ball here. Maybe turn a double play, get out of this mess.
Peraza did his part in that 6-run 6th, had a 2-run double. Reds had 3 doubles in that inning off Drake. Good fastball from Lopez. They're not messing around now, rearing back and letting it fly.
I think that's the message that Derek Johnson was giving him. Hey, let's go. Let's be aggressive in the count here. You got good stuff. Let's not be nibbling around the zone. Let him hit it.
2 strikes and nothing to Peraza. Well, Lopez has had to go through a lot in his young age. 25 years old. Son, serious health issue that he has had to deal with in his life. Battling his way back now to the big leagues, Jorge Lopez.
And he's brought up for this particular situation. Eat up innings. Craig Counsell needs him to finish this game if the Brewers aren't able to muster a lot of offense. Save the bullpen. That's his job right now.
2-2 pitch. Little tapper to Shaw. He'll get 1. Chance to get 2. No. Peraza legs it out with the lead runner and Jesse Winker. There's 1 away with runners at first and second. Counsell, though, wants to get confirmation. Obviously, Peraza is able to leg that out. So runners at first and second. There's Joey Votto. 2-hit night for Votto. Goes the other way toward Hernan Perez for out number 2.
He's barreled up pitches 3 times tonight. And make that 4 times tonight. He lined out the third, his second time up.
Yeah, that was part of the story with Votto. Really had not been hitting the ball hard, but that has changed tonight. Here's Adam Duvall. He too has had a 2-hit night. Reds have pounded out 13 hits. And that's going to be number 14 as that's going to get to the corner. Another run scoring double for Adam Duvall, and it's a 10-4 lead for Cincinnati. Billy Hamilton scores as Peraza moves to third.
I guess bottom line is I think the lesson you learn with Duvall is you don't want to be throwing 90-mile-an-hour fastballs up in his eyes. He's been turning those things around. There's a changeup this time. Up in the zone, about belt high, and he rips it down that left field line. He likes the ball up there. Good high ball hitter, especially with a changeup. That's a mistake.
Now Scooter Gennett with runners at second and third. Lopez danced out of trouble in the 7th inning. Not quite so fortunate here in the 8th. Second round pick back in 2011. Gennett, 1 hopper to Shaw. Long throw in time. Inning over. Reds pick up another run. Bottom of the 8th we go here at Miller Park with the Reds leading the Brew Crew 10-4.
Park, bottom of the 8th we go, and certainly not the score we were expecting coming in. The 2-13 Reds and the Milwaukee Brewers. The Brewers trying to get things going here on the homestand, having a tough time here in the first game against Cincinnati. We're getting ready for Brewers Live postgame presented by Freighter and the Medical College of Wisconsin. We do have some great storylines for you. Jorge Lopez, his first major league hit and appearance on the mound in the first couple of years, and also Jacob Nottingham, his first major league appearance as well, drew a walk and scored his first run and got behind the plate as well defensively. And we'll also hear from Craig Counsell. See if the Brew Crew can rally here, down 10-4 to open up the homestand, Matt.
All right, Craig. Brewers put 4 on the board in the 7th.
Let's talk about a big comeback. How about that?
That works for me.
Forget about all the other stuff. 7-run 8th inning. Let's do it.
Yeah. One point, it was 9-0. Brewers put 4 on the board in the 7th. Reds tacked one more on at the top of this inning. Wandy Peralta now on the mound for Cincinnati.
Yeah, an inning ago, I don't think Peralta thought he'd be in the game. He's been outstanding. Has not allowed a run. He's only given up 2 hits so far this year in 7 appearances.
For a bullpen that struggled a ton, Peralta has been the exception to the rule. Lefty versus lefty here as Shaw will lift a fly ball out into left center field. Adam Duvall will handle it for out number 1. Here's Jesus Aguilar. Part of that 7th inning. Single to center, came around to score. See that average, and then you also look at the RBI total. And the problem is he's been getting hits, but the problem is the bases have been empty when he's been at the plate.
And that deserves the playing time that he's getting because he is swinging the bat so well.
Did his way onto the roster last year with that terrific spring training. A lot of speculation as to where he would end up, where the story would take Aguilar this year, with the talk of Ryan Braun playing first. Saw a lot of Brawny at first during spring training. Obviously Eric Thames, another example of how sometimes things work themselves out.
Right.
The outfield, it's happened, and seeing it at first base right now as well.
That's why organizations don't really, commit to what they plan on doing until they absolutely have to, because you just never know what's going to happen. Injuries, trades, you never know. And Aguilar performing nicely.
With clubhouse presence, they just like the personality that he brings. They really like the bat. Good moments for the Brew Crew last year in a 16 home run season. Peralta with a 2-strike pitch, and that is out number 2.
Hey, the Brewers and Reds will continue their series tomorrow night and Wednesday afternoon, and great seats are still available for both of those games, including half-price tickets for kids and seniors for the series finale on Wednesday. Secure your seats at brewers.com.
7-game homestand. Brewers have traveled pretty well so far, trying to get things turned around here in the home ballpark. Tough first homestand, but again, tough customers they faced on the mound in the series with the Cardinals and the Chicago Cubs. Hernan Perez hits it hard, knocked down by Goslin, and Votto digs it out. Nice play to end the inning. All going Cincinnati's way tonight. Goslin hangs in there. His team up by 6. Badger Mutual Insurance plays of the game. First big league plate appearance for Jacob Nottingham. He worked Luis Castillo for a walk and sets up Jorge Lopez for his first big league hit. A 2-run double, part of a 4-run 7th inning. Jonathan Villar also chipping in with an RBI single. But the two young guys, Nottingham and Lopez, a little rally going in the 7th.
Glass half full up here.
That's exactly right.
And down in the truck. Well done, men and ladies.
All that pulled the Brew Crew to within 5. Fun to see the young guys.
Yeah,
though.
right. Have some success. Always something to be gained, even in games like this. 9-0. You bring in Nottingham, get his feet wet.
Phillip Ervin leading off as Lopez stays in there for the Crew. Five Reds have multiple hit nights. Ervin is one of them. Reds with 14 hits in this game. Two balls, 2 strikes. Phillip Ervin. There's a strikeout for Lopez. Got himself in trouble his first 2 innings. The first 2 reaching in innings 6 and 7, or 7 and 8, I should say. But a good start here in the 9th.
Well, whatever Derek Johnson told him when he went out there after he walked the first 2 seemed to be working. I think he's a little bit more aggressive. Throwing the fastball a little bit more, getting ahead in the count. Got Ervin to chase one.
Here's Barnhart. Breaking ball missed. Interesting to track Lopez. Mentioned the minor league pitcher of the year in this organization in 2015. Solid relief appearances for Colorado Springs before being called up last Wednesday. Ahead of the count, a ball, 2 strikes to Tucker Barnhart. One scoring single in the 2nd inning for Barnhart. Grounded into a double play his last time up. It was against Lopez in the 7th. In the 1-2. Third inning of work for Lopez. And there's another strikeout. Back-to-back strikeouts for Lopez in the 9th.
I think good location on the outside corner, and Tucker Barnhart just kind of waves at it this time. 88 miles an hour on the changeup. Good pitch. Seen a lot of good changeups tonight.
Sure have. Luis Castillo very effective with it. Goslin sends a fly ball out to center field. Room for Lorenzo Cain. And a nice clean inning for Jorge Lopez. 10-4 Reds in the 9th. rough night at the yard for the Brew Crew. 10-4 Cincinnati. Reds blew it open in the 6th inning, scoring 6 runs in this game. As the bats have come alive for Brian Price's team. Brewers getting all of their scoring done in the 7th inning. And now Raisel Iglesias on the mound for the Reds.
Yeah, hard-throwing right-hander. This guy's got terrific stuff. He's got a very difficult arm angle to deal with for a right-handed batter. 10 punch-outs in 6 of the 3rd innings in game number 6. 2 for 2 in save opportunities, which this is not.
He will face Orlando Arcia. 7, 8, and 9 in the Milwaukee batting order. Couple of hits tonight for Arcia. Infield single in the 7th inning.
See where he throws crossfire across his body with that low arm angle and makes it very difficult on a right-hander. Big fastball, good slider. And a changeup.
On from starting pitcher to full-time closer for the Reds. Two balls, 1 strike to Arcia. Striking out his first trip in the 3rd inning. Arcia singled to right, then the infield single in the 7th. 2-2 pitch. And that'll cost him. Barnhart will secure the strikeout for out number 1. Hey, Iglesias, one of those guys that Brian Price can turn to, and they really haven't had the chance to do that with just the 2 wins this season, but he can give you the multi-inning saves.
They closed down the game against the Cubs. It was a 1-0 Reds victory. So he saved both of their wins this year.
28 out of 30 in that department last season. Here's Jacob Nottingham. Drew a walk in his first career plate appearance in the 7th inning. Set up Jorge Lopez to deliver with a 2-run double. Already scored a run in the big leagues, Jacob Nottingham. 1-1 pitch. Well, if nothing else tonight, Craig Counsell has been able to get a couple of young guys out there. Lopez with very little big league experience.
He did a good job finishing up the game. If it's going to stay like this, 3 innings. I mean, they brought him up to be the long man to be able to eat up innings and save the rest of the bullpen, which he was able to do. 3 innings, 1 run. Good work.
Finished with a 1-2-3 inning, including 2 strikeouts. That's the thing in this game. You look big picture. It's been a very rough night for the Brewers, but Counsell only had to go 2 deep into his bullpen.
Right. And that was 4 innings.
And unfortunately, that 1 inning for Oliver Drake was a very rugged one. So the Reds broke this one open. Iglesias loads up again with a 2-2. Nottingham broke it into a full count. Well, worth it for the Nottingham family to get here from LAX.
Yeah.
Payoff pitch coming from Raisel Iglesias. live in the Brewers dugout. Ryan Braun with a bat in the on-deck circle. Payoff pitch again. Nottingham draws another walk.
That was a good at bat. I mean, Iglesias is very tough on right-handed batters, and he did a good job keeping that front shoulder closed. Fouling off some pitches on the outer half of the plate.
It's good work. Let's check out what's on tap, presented by Miller Lite. Game 2 of the series. Sal Romano on the mound for Cincinnati, and Junior Guerra. His first start for him on the road trip, and start number 2. Our coverage starts tomorrow at 6 o'clock right here on Fox Sports Wisconsin. There's Ryan Braun. Nottingham running, and Braun shoots one up the middle, knocked down by Jeanette, and the throw to first, not in time. Infield single for Braun.
A heck of a play by Jeanette to make that close. Well, you know the Reds are going to look at that. Pretty good throwing arm, pretty accurate. Look at the backhand pickup. He had a lot of problems with that backhand as a Brewer. Bang, bang. Looks like a good call over there by Quinn Walcott, the first base umpire, but Reds want him to take a look at it. Ball's there. I don't know.
That's awfully close.
It's not when Votto closes the glove around the baseball. It's when the ball hits the leather. That's awfully close.
Well, you're right. What a play by Jeanette to make it close.
The tricky hop on the backhand and then the throw. Very close at first base. I don't know. When ball hits leather.
And they will overturn it. Jeanette takes away a hit on a terrific play.
Yeah, that it was.
So the Brewers down to their final out. Really? Here's Jonathan Villar. Liner to left. Squeezing it is Duvall. And the Reds snap their losing streak at 8 games here tonight. And they do it in very impressive fashion. 6 runs, 6th inning breaks this one open as the Reds take the opener of this series 10-4 your final. Let's send it down. Craig Kashawn ready to go with Brewers Live postgame.
All right, Matt, thanks very much. There are some pretty good storylines despite a 10-4 loss here to open things up. We'll talk about the debut of Jacob Nottingham and Lopez with his big first major league hit as well. We'll hear from Craig Counsell, all coming up next.